As one of the premier consoles of the generation, the PlayStation 5 has amassed a respectable library of different games. So I'm going to go ahead and show you guys what I think are the most underrated games among them all. Keep in mind that you can play these games on other consoles as well, but PS5 users should definitely have a look at these titles. So how about we stray from the beaten path and check out my picks for the most underrated games on the PS5. Number 10, Ghost Runner. Without a doubt, Ghost Runner is an amazing first-person action platformer, and one that isn't afraid to really up the ante. It's actually a pretty difficult game, but that's honestly what's so addicting about it. When everything goes right and you can clearly see the solution to your platforming problem the moment you set your eyes on it, there's really no feeling like it. Ghost Runner is extremely addicting, and it's a game I can't stop playing. It's also ridiculously underrated, so make sure to give it a try. Number 9, The Pathless. Perhaps one of the reasons why The Pathless didn't get the attention it deserved is because of its overall visual style compared to many others in the PS5 lineup. The Pathless is vivid and stylish, but it was clearly overshadowed by titles that push the hardware's processing power. It's an exploration game where, instead of a minimap, you rely on your spirit vision to get you where you need to be. It's the kind of game that feels lacking at first glance, but is actually a wonderful experience if you stay with it. Overall, The Pathless might just be the game many PS5 owners didn't know they were looking for. Number 8, Megaton Musashi W. Megaton Musashi W is a mech action game, a really good mech action game. With the return of the Armored Core series, you would think that games such as Megaton Musashi W would get more recognition, but people just seem to go for the AAA titles. Any fan of the Japanese super robot genre will get a kick out of playing this game. Actually, you'll probably proceed to use said kick on all of your super robot enemies. It's a great game and well worth a try. Number 7, The Talos Principle 2. This is a game that I honestly feel is one of the best titles on the PS5, but the fact that it's a puzzle platformer and had its main release on PC means so many PS5 owners will likely overlook it, and that's a shame. So yeah, the fact that it's all about puzzles means it isn't going to be everyone's cup of tea, but fans of the first game were undoubtedly blown away by the sequel. It's a philosophical title that encourages the player to think outside the box and look at things from surprising new perspectives. I know many players likely wouldn't play this one, but I wholeheartedly recommend it. Number 6, Returnal. Early owners of the PS5 will probably find it strange to find this title on the list, considering the fact that Returnal was being hyped as one of the premier games on the next-gen console. Unfortunately, while the game was praised for its story and unique mechanics, it was a difficult title to get into. Many players found the difficulty curve a little too steep, and all the hype ultimately fizzled out. Now it's considered an underrated title, and if it goes for too long without a sequel, then it'll be considered a hidden gem. That's crazy to me. Number 5, I Was a Teenage Exocolonist. Now this is the kind of title that really screams underrated, especially in the PS5's gaming library. It's a game that even the enjoyers of niche genres would consider quite niche, as it's not the kind of experience that holds your hand. However, what it does offer is a truly interesting world that you get to interact with in ways that just might surprise you. For example, if there's an NPC you couldn't save, and you ended up reloading to look for a solution, then you'll find that your protagonist actually carries over some knowledge from what happened. It's an intriguing game to be sure, and I have a feeling many gamers will enjoy this underrated title. Number 4, Inscription. Any game that focuses on cards and deck building probably would find itself overshadowed by many other games, but Inscription drew a lot of attention when it was first released. You've probably already seen many content creators on YouTube and other platforms playing this game, but there's a big difference between watching and playing in the case of Inscription. It's a game that begs you to experience it for yourself. Just when you think that you've got a handle on things, everything is turned on its head. If you haven't given this title a shot, then I actually envy you, because I'd love to experience this game for the first time again. Number 3, Disgaea 7: Vows of the Virtueless. You know what's funny? Back in the days of the PS3 and even the PS2, Disgaea was such a phenomenon that you likely wouldn't see it on any list of underrated games. The franchise has a pretty storied history, but it's one that has unfortunately been overshadowed in the past few decades. Even some fans of Disgaea from way back when might not even be aware that there's a 7th game available on the PS5. In any case, you can expect this JRPG from NIS to be a masterclass in the niche tactics genre. If you haven't played any Disgaea title, I wholeheartedly recommend getting this one. Pretty sure you'll be hooked. Number 2, Dying Light 2. Any fan of the first game has probably already played the second outing, which is why this is a game I would very much recommend to those new to the series. In a nutshell, it's a survival horror that allows you to style on the infected like nobody's business. Dying Light 1 was already pretty incredible with its combat and the way you traverse the world, and the sequel, I'm glad to say, is an improvement in almost every aspect. It's too bad the second game didn't get the praise and fanfare it deserved, because it's still an incredibly addictive game to this day, and that makes it underrated like hell in my book. Number 1, Kingdom Come: Deliverance. Last but certainly not least, what I would consider to be the most underrated title currently available on PlayStation 5 has to be Kingdom Come: Deliverance. It's something of a medieval life simulator, and it absolutely oozes atmosphere. You can pretty much feel the passion of the developers as you interact with everything the game has to offer. Have you ever wanted to experience a medieval world in the extremely dirty shoes of a peasant? Probably not, but what if you're capable of turning this peasant into someone so much more? The story in this game is surprisingly immersive. You'll even have to find a way to learn to read and write at some point. Overall, a fantastic title and one that I feel never got its due. So that was my list. Sure, there might not be many first-party titles, but the thing is, the PS5 is still relatively young, and its library needs more time in the oven, so to speak. That being said, the PS5 is definitely the perfect delivery mechanism for underrated titles. Until next time, and a like and a subscribe would be highly appreciated. See ya!